Hi everyone. Hi, we have Mayank Joshi with us, and
Hi, Bhavish. Thank
hey,
you
hi.
for
So,
inviting me for this.
glad. So this is Bhavesh, and I would like to welcome everyone on this Alumni of the Week. We have started in this new series. So going ahead, a quick intro, like if you want to share from your end. So what do you do? Let's.
Sure. So I'll stick my intro by relating it to product, right?
Yeah.
So currently I'm working as APM with Emarticus. So Emarticus is into edtech. So primarily I'm into the B2C vertical. I take care of the LMS pod. And it's been almost 6 months I'm working in Emarticus. Before this, I started my product stint with Yojak. That was a e-commerce B2B company, and I started there as an intern. I converted my role to PPO, but unfortunately, I was being laid off. And after Yojak, I am working in Marticus from last 6 months. And how I switched to product before this, I was into sales. I worked in B2C and B2B sales for almost 1.5 years. And after that, I realized that sales is something which I cannot continue for a very long period of time. It's quite monotonous sort of job. So then I decided to shift to product, and yeah, the journey has been exciting from preparing to the product, doing mock interviews and that sort. I started my product stint in January this year, so it's been almost 9 months. I'm working as a APM. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
my short intro.
Awesome. And amazing part is like coming from sales background and then entering into the whole PM arena. So that's really
Right.
commendable. I mean, it'll help others to also get to know. I mean, people. It's not restricted to only specific verticals. People from different spaces also can
Correct.
get into it.
Right. So these are people from different backgrounds, either it from the sales, from the consulting, from coding background, from the
Yeah.
design background. A lot of people are switching to product, and what I believe is people from any background, be
Hmm.
it the medical background, right? You can switch to product. There is no constraint as in which background you comes from. So
Yeah.
everyone can become a product manager, right? Until unless you are curious enough to be one.
Definitely. So, with this question, for following, another thing
Yeah.
is, what is that one thing that helped you out to understand? Okay, let's just, product management is that one vertical that you would
Hmm.
love to get in. Yeah, fair. What was that one point that intrigued you? Okay, let's just.
Right. So while I was working into sales, I was preparing for CAT back in 2019, right? And I stumbled upon one video from there was one channel, I think Inside I Am, yeah.
Yeah.
So I stumbled upon a video where a guy was talking about he was a product manager at Flipkart, and he explained what a PM does and what sort of responsibilities and how the day of a PM looks like inside out. And that was a time when I was actually, let's just move back. And I told you that I was not interested into sales, right? So the reason why I was looking forward for an MBA was to switch from sales to any other role. I was not sure what it has to be, but it was somewhere, I was inclined for the marketing. But then I stumbled upon the product, and that was the turning point, when I closely understand what a product manager does and what are the responsibilities and how the day of a PM looks like. And that is the one turning point, and what intrigued me to study further and do more research on my own what a product manager does. That was a turning point. And beyond that, I started searching on my own on LinkedIn, on YouTube videos. Watched a lot of YouTube videos. I talked to a lot of PMs, right? I used to send out random connection requests on LinkedIn to PMs. You are at the even I have sent connection requests to people who have just started their PM career, be it an
Yeah.
intern or an APM.
Hmm.
So I just randomly used to reach out those people, talk them about the role, try to understand the role better. Like, is this what I want to do or not? Because I cannot keep on switching my career every 4 to 5 years, right?
Right.
So once I have done my enough research for almost 2 3 months, then
Hmm.
I realized ki boss, this is something which I would love doing, and this is what probably I was looking forward for. I couldn't stumble upon this before, but now I know. So this is the one thing which I'll do for a decade now. So from there onwards, I started my preparation to break into the product. So yeah, that one video on the YouTube was my turning point.
Awesome, awesome. So awesome, man. And then again, on the similar lines as you suggested, I mean, you were doing a lot of things like inquiring about, following people, asking question, going on LinkedIn. So like
Right.
while switching this, the whole path, the whole vertical, what are the difficulties that you face? I mean, while you are navigating, right? I mean, you are making a way through, like you are breaking down things. So, like, what are the three difficulties that you think were like a big, a point for me to cross? So, yeah.
So obviously, the number one was to understand the role better.
Okay.
Or, I mean, at times there is a different what we read in internet, and when you actually talk to a guy, like this is what I do inside out. When you are actually into that role, right? The
Right.
number one was to understand is product management is something what I have perception in my mind, or is there a delta between what I think about a PM and what actual PM does? So that was the number one thing to understand the role very deeply.
Hmm.
And the number two question was how to, be a PM now, right? And there are a lot of things which I discovered while figuring out how to be a PM. Once the question is clear in our mind, "Okay, this is what I wanted to do now." The next
Yeah.
question comes to
Yeah.
me: how exactly I'll reach there,
Hmm.
right? So that was the number two. Number three is the problem which I faced at the later stages when I was not getting the shortlist,
Hmm.
because you will see majority of PMs are from the either they are the IITians or they are the B school graduates, right? The percentage of people who are product managers is very less, especially the people like me who don't have a tag name or a brand name of a IIT or
Yeah.
IIM. So that's a very big hurdle for you, right? So that was the number three thing for me. Third problem for me, where I was not getting shortlisting when I
Hmm.
started my when I was almost done with my preparation, but I started applying for the interviews. So I
Okay.
was not getting shortlisting. Even I still remember I was being rejected for PM intern position as well. So that
Okay.
was the third problem which I faced while preparing for the PM interviews.
Cool. So, all right. Then, coming to the next thing, as you said, like the problem you face, how you transition from the sales, like in this whole
Right.
journey of transitioning, what were the points or what were the those important hurdles where, as a Hello PM, as a community, where Hello PM helped you out? What do you think? Like, what you have to say about that?
Right. So, and the very first step that was to identify and understand the role better. So, how I came to know about Ankit. So, I was just scrolling down the Twitter feed. Ankit posted one tweet over there. It was related to product only. Then I stumbled upon his profile, and it was written that anyone can connect with me who is a product aspirant. I'll help you out in free, right? So I just DM him. I still remember I sent him a 5 long minute voice message on LinkedIn, right? Okay, this is the problem which I'm facing. I came from this background. I don't have a tag of IM or IIT.
Mm-hmm.
I am very confident that this is what I wanted to do, but I still am very confused and not confident whether I'll be able to do it or not. And how should I proceed further, right? How should I, try to understand the role better, and what would be my journey way forward in cracking my first product interview or the role,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I sent him the voice note across. Then he called me back. He set up a meeting and he explained me everything. There were a lot of questions. It was more than a half an hour discussion. And that was a time when I was not even enrolled for the Hello PM. I was not even aware of the Hello PM word. I
Okay.
just came over across the Ankit is a guy. He's a product manager at I think he was at Scaler, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And there onwards he keep on helping me. I have connected with Ankit for almost 2 3 times before even enrolling for the Hello PM, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ankit was very honest from the very first day that, hey Mayank, you don't need a course actually to become a product manager, right? You can find whatever the curriculum is mentioned in the Hello PM. If you have time enough to find those resources on the internet and you can accumulate those resources and go on your own, definitely please go ahead. I won't suggest you to buy HelloPM. But if you want a structured path and a mentor who will help you throughout your journey, then HelloPM would be the best choice. And this is the first phase when Ankit helped me before even enrolling for the HelloPM, sorry, the course.
Okay.
During the cohort, the best part about HelloPM, I would say, is that the cohort size is very less. I mean, I was in C6,
Hmm.
and my cohort size was only 25 to 30 people. So the peer-to-peer learning was immense, right? In
Correct. Yeah.
2 to 3 hours of a session, more
Hmm.
than 1 hour went to the cross questioning. We used to question the mentor a lot. There was peer-to-peer questioning. We used to, ask a lot of question why, right? That is number two. And number three was that Ankit create a personalized path for every learner who enrolls for the HelloPM. For example, let's say I am a guy who comes from a sales background, who don't have the IIT and IIM tag.
Hmm.
Neither I have a product background, and neither I carry any product experience, right?
Right. Right.
And I was always inclined to edtech from the very first day,
Okay.
right? So Ankit crafted a personalized journey for me from resume preparation, right?
Hmm.
So how you can craft your resume, even being a salesperson, how you can put in the points, as in you were a problem solver back then as a sales guy also, right? You have
Hmm.
been a hustler. I
Right.
mean, there are a lot of points, right? So he
Hmm.
creates a very personalized path for you from, preparing the resume, what sort of a companies you have to apply, because I don't have a IIT or IIM tag. I cannot directly go and apply on Amazon, right? I have
Hmm.
to target the early startup companies, or probably suggest. I still remember he asked me to apply into the startups who are recently funded by Y Combinator, because the friction in getting an early age company is
Right.
very less for me,
Hmm.
right? So that's number three. I think that's the USP of, I would say, what I believe, that's the USP of HelloPM. Number one is the small cohorts and immense peer-to-peer learning, and number two is the personalized path which he creates for every individual, right? He first try to understand your goals. He totally asks a lot of questions from you, what sort of background you comes from, right? Why you want to be
Right.
a PM. You
Hmm.
also get that question, like why,
Hmm.
right? And then he creates a path for you. So I think it has been very helpful from Ankit and the whole HelloPM team,
Hmm.
and he has helped me a lot, honestly, like seriously.
Okay, okay. So again, for like everyone, the three important first one was the first, second, third. Like, can you just
Sure, sure.
yeah.
First is the personalized path which he creates for you, right? By looking at your background, right? What sort of background you come from. Second is the small cohort, right? The
Yeah.
peer-to-peer. The sessions are very fruitful. There's a lot of healthy discussions which goes into, right? Not only the office hours, but the weekend sessions which you used to have.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is number two. And number three, recently, back then when I was in C6, there was no module for interview preparation. But now Ankit has introduced that, right? Because being a PM, he has taken the feedback of the user. Like I personally gave that feedback to Ankit. Ki, Ankit,
Hmm.
हमारे पास we don't have a module for where we are given the mocks, where we are being
Yeah.
prepared for the
Yeah.
interview, right? But that feedback has been taken very positively, and I really appreciate. And that there are, I think, 2 weeks module in the curriculum now,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
right?
So
So the feedback which Ankit takes from learners is taken very seriously. So these are the three things
awesome.
which I liked about HelloPM.
Awesome. Okay, okay. So these were the things like that help you to, the transitioning journey that
Right, right. I mean, there were a lot of things. I just told you that even Ankit
yeah,
helped me before
definitely.
even enrolling for the HelloPM, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
these
yeah.
are the three major points which I
Major.
can highlight.
Okay. And
Right.
yeah, and following this question, okay, so there are a lot of other communities also out there for product management managers, like for PM. So what do you think?
Right.
Like, what made you to choose Hello PM, or to reframe it? I would say, what is that one thing that you felt like that makes Hello PM stand out from other communities out there?
So when I was looking forward for a course or a mentor, I stumbled upon Ankit. I also connected with a couple of other people who were PM and they had 4 to 5 years of experience, but
Hmm.
they were not running any cohort, right? I do have checked out a couple of free cohorts. For example, there's one which Ankit Doshi runs. I'm not aware of that, right? But the only thing which separates HelloPM, or why I choose HelloPM, was the dedication which Ankit shows in every learner to achieve what he wants. That is to break his first product, interview, right?
All right.
So I think that's the one thing which I liked about HelloPM and Ankit, right? I
Okay.
mean, a guy who is willing to help you and who is willing to dedicate more than 4 to 5 hours of his precious time
Mm-hmm.
before even you enroll for the course. I mean, what more than you can expect, right? I think
Yeah.
that's good enough to choose the HelloPM. And dedication definitely is, he's way back dedicated. He tracks you, way forward when you enroll till the time you are not getting a first product role.
Definitely, definitely. And then,
But one thing I've realized, sorry to interrupt you, that
yeah.
even in the journey of when you are, trying to get a for project product role, you need
Mm-hmm.
a mentor, right? You
Right,
don't
right.
need a hand holding, but you need to figure out where are you going wrong, right? What is
Yeah.
the thought process you require in an interview, and what is the thought process which you have right now? What is the delta in these things? So that delta has to be identified by some mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
At every step, be it in identifying what a PM does, be
Mm-hmm.
it in identifying where you're not solving the right questions, for example, guesstimates, RC, so on and so forth. So that delta has to be identified at every step, right? So that is one thing which covers, which Ankit has delivered very well.
All right, all right. So moving towards our last section, like we are about to, we are at the end almost. So at last, like what are the 3 or 4 important major pointers that you would like to suggest people who are aspiring PMs, like who are aspiring to be PM someday? Maybe they are coming from non-tech or tech background. It doesn't matter, like they are even coming
Right,
from sales.
right.
But what are those 4 to 5 things that you would suggest them for all these parents?
So I'll suggest three things. Number one, there's a lot of hype being created for product management these days, right? In
Hmm.
the LinkedIn, maybe it's because the role looks quite exciting, or probably the salary which is being paid to the PM even at the early age of when you
Hmm.
start your career with a product management. So what I'll suggest, don't just rush in starting a preparation straightforward. Try to understand the role better, right? Because this is what I did, and I would suggest everyone to do the same, right? So again, is it something which, I mean, you have to clear the perception in your mind कि बॉस मेरे दिमाग में ये है कि PM does this.
Hmm.
Actual PM क्या करता है? Definitely there is a delta. In
Yeah,
the internet, you'll just see the PM is a problem solver. But when you solve a problem, there are a lot of things associated with that. You do a lot of stakeholder management, right? You have
definitely. Yeah.
to take care of the TATs as well. There's a lot of things to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So talk to a lot of PMs, talk to PMs across the industry, talk to a guy from fintech, talk to a guy from edtech, talk to a guy who's in social commerce, right? Understanding the role is the first step, because you and that becomes more important when you are switching your career from another role, right? So number one is to understand the role better, and
Yeah,
how to do that. Talk to people. People will help out you. I can bet you on that. If we'll send 10 connection requests on LinkedIn, out of 10, at least two people will reply
definitely.
you. You have to take a follow up, and you have to
Yeah.
ask a lot of questions. So again, number one is understand the role better. Number two is, once you have the clarity in your mind कि मेरे को तो PM ही बनना है अब, then try to figure out which industry you want to work with, right? That should not be a constraint, but
Hmm.
if you have a bias in your mind कि यार मेरे को तो edtech में ही जाना है,
Hmm.
irrespective of your background, right? Try to figure out that. And
Yeah.
how exactly you'll figure out, you have to talk to the PM from across the industry. This is why I
Hmm.
mentioned the one step, right? Number three is, be curious, right? Because that will not only
Yeah.
help you in cracking the interviews, but it'll help you throughout your journey, right? Because product management is all about curiosity. Until unless you are not curious enough to
Hmm.
understand how things exist the way they do, you cannot be a great PM. You can be a PM, but you cannot be a good PM. So try to be very curious. कोई भी
Curious.
product use कर रहे हो, या using WhatsApp, Swiggy, try to ask a lot of questions. Why ये button यही क्यों है? What is the intent of this button, right?
Hmm. Right, right, right.
And lastly, one suggestion on the interview front, how to crack the interviews. I would say take a lot of mocks, right? Because that is one thing which has helped me personally, right? Because I still remember I connected with one guy from HelloPM and we used to do a lot of mocks day and night, right? We used to practice a lot of guesstimate questions,
Okay.
practice a lot of RCA questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? Practice a lot of product designs questions. So mocks has definitely helped me. It you know it shifts your mind from a certain state to a state which is required in a product interviews. So
Mm-hmm.
mocks has helped me a lot. And one last thing is to have a mentor. That is very crucial because, as I mentioned previously, you need to understand where you are going wrong, right? Because in every product interview, the interviewer only checks how you think, what is your thought process. They don't, judge you on what solution you have presented. It checks you how you approaches to that solution, what are the steps, how your mind thinks, right? How you break down the problem, right? So in that, I would say mentor is very important. You can choose any mentor. It can be a guy who have 3 to 4 of experience, right? It can be any cohort, right? And but you need to have a mentor. It will help you at every step, from identifying the role, from applying to the companies, refining your resumes, right? Molding your resumes to the
Definitely.
company which you're applying in,
Yep.
right? Which companies to target. Right? There are a lot of things. And the last step, when you have, let's say you have 2 3 shortlists, which company to choose, how to differentiate, कि बस किस company में जाना है, how to do the background check, how's the product
Mm-hmm.
culture over there, because there are a lot of since there is huge demand in product management. I have seen a lot of roles जहाँ पे you are hired as a product manager, but you are not actually doing the PM का job,
Okay.
right? Project management का काम करें. This is very common these days, right?
Yeah.
So a mentor will help you at each and every phase of a journey. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these are my suggestion. And last bit is, don't just lose the hope, right? It will take time. For me, it took around 6 to 9 months to get my first product role, and that too was an intern, right? I
Mm-hmm.
still didn't get the full time role, right? So keep hustling, keep being. Don't stop your curiosity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to people,
Right.
do a lot of mocks, get constant feedback from a mentor, and I'm sure you'll be able to get the product role.
Awesome, awesome. So, in a nutshell, it's not hard to crack a PM role. Like you can get a job.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, coming from
Any day,
any
any
like
day.
any
Anyone can be a PM,
anyone
right?
can be a PM,
Until
right?
and unless, right. You are following what is needed, you will land the job. It is not a challenge.
Definitely.
Because
All
these
right.
days the challenge is not about the job, it's about the finding the right people. Even I was looking for a couple of interns last month in my company.
Mm-hmm.
So again, one thing which I check upon is how the guy is thinking. Is he actually curious, and most importantly, he actually wants to be a PM or not? या फिर यहाँ पे खाली एक चेक करना है, एक्सप्लोर करना है? I don't want those guys, right? उसका thought process clear होना चाहिए कि यार, this is one thing I want to do and I have done my research,
Hmm.
right? I was enrolled in a cohort. मेरे को पता है, what is roadmap, what is wireframe,
Right,
right?
right, right,
How
right.
the things works in the product. All these things will be taught in any
Mm-hmm.
cohort you will join. But yeah, that's quite easy. That's definitely it's challenging, but it's like not impossible, right?
Cool, cool. All right. Okay, so with that, we'd like to wrap this session. And thanks, Mayank. Thanks for being here, and thanks for answering all the queries. And I'm sure these queries would be helpful for all the students and all the people who have joined the cohort. And yeah, thank you for
Thank you, Bhavishya. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my journey, how it was. I'm sure people will learn something from this. And anyone who is looking forward to break into the product, good luck to you guys. Thank you, Bhavish. Thank you so much. Have a great day.